Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bravo Tea with a Stay-at-Home Mom. I'm Erica, and I'm ready to talk all things Bravo.
Welcome back, everybody. And on this episode, I am going to be posting a rewind episode again because we are still on vacation in Disney World. And then I'm just going to skip the one I would normally put out at the beginning of the week. So I hope you guys enjoy this one more rewind episode. And I'm throwing it back to my first online interview I ever did with the Connection Queen. So enjoy.
Welcome back, everybody. I have a very special guest for my first online video interview. We are with the Connection Queen. How are you?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to be here. I'm doing well. The sun is shining. It's a great day. How are you?
Good. It's raining here in Delaware. So I'm envious.
It is raining on the East Coast. I did hear that.
We're still in our winter time, so I'm jealous of anyone in nice weather.
I'm sending you some sunshine.
Thank you. Well, this will put a smile on everyone's face because we're going to talk about the VPR premiere because you were there.
Yes. It was wonderful. It was a very cool experience.
I was living vicariously through your pictures. It looked so cool.
It honestly was so fun. I've never been to BravoCon or anything like that, but I went with the Bravo mom and the official Bravo mom, and she had been to BravoCon, and she said that it was very similar, the way that they had it set up and everything. I mean, the lighting was amazing. The drinks were so cool. And yeah, the vibe was it was really fun.
Yeah, I feel like that was my first curious question to ask. So we'll get into the questions. What were the drinks? Was it kind of like Sir? Was it like pumptinis and stuff like that?
Yeah, so they had a few different options. I can pull up a picture on my phone to read them off. I'll find them in a sec. But it was just like that. They had a pumptini. They had a few different options. And so some people were invited. Her and I both got an alert from I think it's called Eventbrite or Event Tickets or something, where you could purchase your own tickets. So I was like, oh my God, it's right here. I'm going. It's so close. So I then sent it. We have a Bravo group chat. So I sent it in the Bravo group chat, hey, ladies, if anyone wants to, come. And then the official Bravo mom was like, I'm going. So it was cool because we were able to go together. And yeah, it was so much fun.
I know, that's when I get so envious that I live where I do because I can't just go to all those fun things. So when New York and New Jersey kick up the events, then I'll be at this.
Definitely. I mean, I don't know. I heard that they really enjoyed BravoCon in Vegas last year. I don't know if they're going to do BravoCon in Vegas again, but that's something maybe you could fly out for,
I know. I did say I want to go this coming BravoCon. And I feel like it'll be in Vegas too, just because people said, I know a couple people that went and they said it was better out there.
That's what I've heard. The forums were just kind of more spacious, and it was just ran really nicely. So, and I definitely would like to attend this year. That's my 30th birthday present to myself. I'm going to BravoCon.
Oh, that's a good one. And I feel like it's good too, having everyone have to go to Vegas, all the Bravo celebrities, because you see so many of them because they all have to stay in hotels. Whereas I feel like when it was in New York, the Jersey people, they just went home, they said, every night. So you're not getting to stalk them in hotel lobbies.
Literally, though. And that's the other thing, after parties and stuff, maybe they're going to this club or that nightclub or something. But when the events are in New York City, I do agree. I feel like the housewives, they go back home. They don't staying in the city.
Yeah. So how was everyone, do you feel around each other? Was there could you sense tension around Tom Sandoval?
Not necessarily. There was lines for people to take pictures with Lala and Sheena, and then Tom Sandoval as well. There were people waiting there to take pictures with him. I would say that I didn't see the cast members necessarily with him, but I also wouldn't say that I saw tension. Sheena seemed a little bit anxious or more anxious than normal. That was just something I kind of picked up on from her when I took a picture with her. I was like, ooh, she seems a little bit on edge, because I went up to her because she was wearing her gold dress, and I was like, because we're good as, and she kind of looked at me, she was like, gold. And I was just oh, because I've said that to her before, and she's been gold. And I don't know. Yeah, she just seemed a little bit anxious. But I mean, Tom had a girl there with him,
Oh,
around
he
him,
did.
near him. Um,
That was gonna be my next question, if, like, any of the single people brought dates. So, he had kinda like a date?
yeah, I mean, it looked like a date. He was kind of like walking in front of her, though. You know, when like you go in like a pair, you usually
It
like
wasn't
walk.
his assistant, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't his assistant. No.
Okay.
This the only reason I'm saying that is because I do know what his assistant looks like, and this girl was like almost maybe taller than him. She was really, really tall. She was gorgeous. She was so pretty. She was wearing a really cool dress too. But that's kind of I just saw like him with her, and then like the rest of the castmates were around each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, that I would say that was my impression of the cast members together.
I feel like Sheena has been talking about, like, on her podcast that she gets really anxious now,
And that
and
was
she,
another
has OCD.
Yeah, I did read about that, and that absolutely can manifest in like like domino effects. Like OCD can trigger like anxiety, anxiety could trigger OCD, stuff like that. So I could totally see that. I definitely sympathize with any mental health, anxiety, anything like that for sure.
Yeah, I know, I feel bad if she feels, like, uncomfortable because I feel like, what was the size of it too? It didn't look too big, the
Okay,
theater.
I would equate it to I feel like a high school gymnasium is
Oh,
like a
okay.
good size to equate it to. So it wasn't like a large forum and it wasn't like a small environment either. But it was like
Right.
it was a nice size. It was very spacious. People were not like sitting on top of each other. Like tables were nicely spaced out. There was a lot of walking room, and
Oh, that's
visually
good.
it was really like appealing.
I know, because that's the thing I get nervous about BravoCon. I feel like you also have to go VIP, or else you're standing in line for hours taking a picture, and then you're missing panels while you're standing in line. But it's like, that's
Yeah,
where they get you.
I definitely am going VIP. You have to. Like I want to be able to see as many panels as possible. I want to be able to be like in, out, picture, thank you, next.
I know. I agree. Well, we'll go together for VIP.
Would love that. That would be so much fun.
But I'm also jealous you got to see everyone's reaction in person for the trailer for the Valley. Because first, tell me what you thought, and then I'll tell you what I thought, and then we'll talk about what the consensus was.
Okay, so well, first off, I'm like Patrick Star. I live under a rock because like I really didn't know that it was coming out. Truly, I didn't. So when it like came up on the screen, I was like, "What is this? Oh my god! Like they're coming out with something new." And then I was like, "Oh my god, we have been asking for stuff like that. Wow, that's crazy." So
Hmm.
that was my like initial reaction. And then Bravo Mom was like, "Oh my gosh! Like we asked for this. They listened." I was like, "Yeah." And then the room itself, people were like cheersing and stuff. They were clapping. They were like, it was very hype. They were very,
Yeah.
very excited. So I'm excited. I like to give things a chance. I'm going to give that a chance. I'm going to give, I know it's not Bravo, but Vanderpump Villa on Hulu. I'm going to give that a chance. Like I like to
Oh,
give
yeah. Great.
shows chances. So we'll
Yeah.
see. And I am excited. I said in another podcast, I'm excited to see Jax on TV, but I really meant I'm so excited to see Brittany again. I love Brittany.
No.
I'm so
I know,
excited
'cause,
to see
like,
her.
I'm excited to see them as parents because for me, like, now that I'm in that phase of my life, like, I like to see how they've all progressed, like being married and having kids because that's me. But they still want to be cool and have fun.
And you could do both. I think that dyad absolutely can exist. You could still have fun and you could still like those are, different titles and stuff. You're a mom, you're a friend, you're a lover, you know what I mean? Like instead of
Agreed.
just boxing yourself. So I'm very excited to see it. And it's so cool that you have that to relate to.
I know, and it's just funny to see Jax, like, grow up because, like, he literally was the one that I was like, "He'll never get married, and if he does, he'll be a terrible husband. He'll never be a parent," and he's, like, turned it all around, and he's, like, amazing me like, he seems very present with their son and in their marriage, and I'm like, "Wow, you really changed a lot."
I could not agree more. I am like thoroughly impressed. I love in the trailer when he's like, in the kid car.
Oh my god, I
I'm
know.
just like that's like I feel like that's a really good visual of Jax. He's a big little kid, but he did grow up, and
Yeah,
it is kind of cool to see that because I agree with you. When he was on Vanderpump Rules, I was like, this man is going to be a single Pringle for forever. Like I didn't see him changing his
I
ways.
I
So
know, and, like, when I told you I've been watching all the reruns that have been on, and I'm like, "Oh my god," like, him running shirtless in the parking lot fighting Frank, like
Yep.
season 1 over Stassi. Like, I'm like, wow, he's really turned it around.
He has. And like, okay, the other reason I actually have respect for Jax is because he does take onus of stuff. He takes
Yeah.
accountability. It's not like like, yes, in the past maybe he brushed under the rug, but something I really have respect for is like he does own it and he does like identify what he did wrong and then he tries to be better. So, just in regards to like Vanderpump Rules, Scandal, things like that with people taking like onus and stuff like that. I respect Jax because I feel he has taken
Yeah.
accountability in different ways and then proven that he understands what he did was wrong,
Yeah, I agree. So when I saw the trailer, I'm excited, obviously, to see him and Brittany again, and Kristen and her boyfriend. But sometimes I don't like all new people. Like, I was like, "Oh, I wish they almost just put them back on VPR because I do miss them." But then I'm like, now we gotta get to know all these people. And I may like them. Like, obviously, I'm gonna watch the show and give it a chance. But when it's always like brand new things, or then I'm like, okay, like they're all parents, I guess. I mean, Kristen doesn't have kids, but I'm assuming these are their friends, like Jack and Brittany's friends that like have kids or they're at least married. So then I'm like, okay, like, are they all gonna like still go out? Like, what are they gonna fight about? Like, it's different.
No, for sure. So, I mean, I feel like transitioning into a new environment in general, like, okay, we know some of the cast members, but not all of them, is always, I'm always a little weary. Like, okay, let's see. I do think, though, that there might be other reasons for this as well. Like, I don't know how much longer we have of Vanderpump Rules. I hate to say it, but it's like, I don't know. So it's like maybe they do need to start branching out, and it's like eventually another show will come of Vanderpump Rules, and then we'll see some of those cast members on the Valley.
Yeah,
But
well, remember during, sorry to cut you off. Remember, like before Stassi and Jax and all them were off of Vanderpump, they were talking about like, remember when they had that terrible season with like Max and Brett and like
yes,
Danica, and like those were on the other day, and I was like, wow, this was a terrible season. And they were, I feel like, starting to think about making the Valley and transitioning all of them to the Valley, and then like keeping the newer people on Vanderpump Rules. So it still stayed about working at the restaurant, because that's the one thing I will say. I love all the cast members, but I'm like, none of them work at the restaurant anymore. So it's like never about the restaurant.
yeah, it's so funny. Somebody asked me in one of my on one of my videos, they commented like, "What is the show about?" And I was like, "Well, originally it was about restaurant life and what it's like to be behind the scenes and have that like close knit circle of friends and drama. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, they don't even work at the restaurant. Some of them own their own restaurants now. So it
Yeah.
is cool though to see that whole evolution.
Yeah. So Jackson and Brittany were at the premiere, right?
No,
Oh, they weren't? See, I assumed they would have been just because the Valley.
I'm
And
saying
because
that
he is in the new season.
we might have to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure. I think I would remember that. I think, but the premiere was a little glossy for me, so that's why I'm like I don't remember the Pumptinis, man.
Oh,
Um, but I don't think that he was there because I think that we also. I'm talking. Me and Bravo Mom were like, oh, they're not here though. I thought that they would be here to like support,
because
Vanderpump.
he was in it. Like, I saw him in the trailer. So he
And
is on the new season of Vanderpump Rules. Like, he's at least talking to Lisa, that scene.
yes, yeah. But I was surprised that Jax wasn't there though, or like the cast from the Valley wasn't there because it's like your show just got like premiered before the premiere of Vanderpump. So I thought that was interesting, like two shows supporting each other. But maybe
Yeah,
they didn't
I don't
want to
think
make.
any of them knew either that they were showing that premiere.
Oh, maybe that's why. But I think that everyone got it at the same time. I think that when we saw it, Bravo released it. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure. I think like online. But
I
yeah,
know, because I love Lala. I listen to her podcast. So her brother is on her podcast and her assistant. And he said that they were at the premiere, and she's one that I wish we could see her daughter on the show, because Randall won't allow her on the show.
yeah, that's probably so frustrating too, because I'm sure that she wants, everyone to see how just amazing Her daughter is. I do also listen to Lala's podcast. I love it. And I got to see Easton and her mom. They were both so nice, and like they seemed at the premiere. I saw them and they were like excited. Like they weren't faking it. You could tell like they were enjoying their work and enjoying supporting like their family member. It was just very, very good vibes. But yeah,
I
I would
would
be
love like a couple episodes of just like her mom, her brother, and the husbands. Like I would love that. Like at her house in Palm Springs. Like I want to see
yes.
her daily life because all the stories of her mom crack me up too.
Same. You should write to them and be like, "Hey, can we get a podcast from Palm Springs? Because that honestly is a good idea. I'm sure there's other people that would want to hear that from her, you know?"
I know. Like I think it's funny and like the stories she tells of Ocean are
Yes.
funny.
That's why I'm like, she probably does want, the world to see Ocean and stuff. So that's got to be really, really frustrating. But she's going through so many different frustrating things. So I'm sure that's like maybe one of the many.
I know because I feel like it shows her in a different light too. Like the people that still give her a hard time. I'm like, I feel like if she was on the show being a mom, you would see her like softer side. Like
Yeah,
seeing Gina with Summer Moon is the cutest thing ever.
it is. It really is. And I don't know. I guess I'm biased because I love children, but I'm just like, they're all so cute. I love all their kiddos. They're just so, so cute.
I know. That's why I miss Stassi on it because it'd be fun to see her with the kids. That's why it's like I wish it was all of them on like the Valley as like parents. Like it's like they've grown up and this is like their grown up show.
I know. And I was kind of bummed that Stassi wasn't in the trailer. I was like, oh man. And then, I heard like a bunch of different things. Like she didn't get to be executive producer. So, she said no to it. And then she went on Jeff Lewis this week and was like, I'm not ever going back. Like ever.
Yeah, I listened to that too.
Like,
I love him.
no, I was like, I want you back.
She
Come
said
back.
that she's not friends with Brittany and Jax because he was like, "Why wouldn't you go on the show?" And she was like, "Well, that's not my real life because those aren't my friends." So I assumed she meant like everyone else. And then he was like, "Oh, so like you don't talk to Brittany and Jax or Kristen?" And she said like no. She
I
said a
know. So
little bit to Kristen, but no to Jax and Brittany.
see, that's what was a little confusing to me though, because I could see, I mean, I never see Jax, Brittany, Stassi, or Bo post like anything together anymore, really. They used to, not anymore. But like Kristen still posts stuff when she sees Stassi. So I was kind of surprised when she said that, but she did clarify that like her and Kristen do kind of still talk, but I definitely thought they were closer. I don't know why, but I did.
I know. I just am curious who Stassi's friends are. Like I know Katie, but like yeah, and she's kind of friends with Lala, but like I feel like that's it. Like she's not friends with like Ariana and Sheena. I feel like.
Not anymore. I don't think so. I never see them together. I never see them like not like in pictures or anything at events. I mean, I'm sure if they saw each other, they'd be like cordial, but I don't think that they have like a friendship anymore.
I know. So I was like, I want to see her
Which is
back on.
another sad thing, but like you see how many of the relationships have dissolved. So that's why I'm
Mhm.
just like, I don't know how much more time we have with Vanderpump Rules. I think that Katie and Ariana might be on to like bigger and better things in the future. And
I
then it's
know. I'm so
like,
disappointed the sandwich shop isn't open yet.
because West Hollywood and their regulations and their coding is just horrific. And they'll say yes, and
Which
then
is
they'll say
crazy.
no, and then a new law comes into play. So
I know because I feel like they looked like they were like ready to go open, and now it's like they had to take everything down and like redo the floor. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just let them be open.
literally, please let them be open. I'm so excited to go and try when it does open.
I know.
I
I was
can.
like, I wish I could DoorDash a sandwich all the way to Delaware.
Oh, you're so cute. I can get one and overnight it to you.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I will
Just
do
make
that.
sure the dressing's on the side of the sandwich.
Okay, sounds good.
So it won't be
That way it
soggy.
doesn't get soggy.
Yeah.
That's so funny. But
I
yeah,
was hoping James was gonna like DJ at the premiere too. I feel like people thought he would.
they had like music playing on speakers, but there was no. I don't know. I didn't actually ever think about that. That would have been really fun though. That would
I
have been
know. I
really
feel
fun.
like it would have been too much for him though.
I was just about to say, I feel like he would have been like, y'all paying me for this? And they were like, yeah, no, we're not. Never mind. He
I
would have.
actually would like to see him DJ. I've seen Paulie D before, and I would like to see James though because I think he's actually really good.
He is good, and I feel like he's just gotten better and better and better. You know, when I first moved out here in 2019, I heard him DJ, and I was like, all right, he's okay. And I saw him last year, and like he really has improved. So I'm very proud of James. I think he's turning around too, and I love Allie for him.
I was just gonna say, how are him and Allie in person? Because I feel like they're so great.
The cutest, the absolute cutest. Their energy together, you could definitely feel it. And I just feel like she is a business woman. Like you know how I am. Take me as you see me. And you know, I think that she's definitely helping him to kind of change his mindset, maybe some behaviors. So it was really good vibes. I messed around. I like tapped him and I was like, hey, and he was like, hold on 1 second. I was like, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Allie.
Oh
He was
my
like,
God.
oh, okay. It was so funny. But
Oh
yeah,
my God.
no, they were really sweet together.
I
And
know.
she's pretty, like just naturally pretty. She's very pretty.
Yeah, you can tell she's like that effortless. I woke up like this. Like you're so jealous of. Like great skin. I'm like, I feel like a lot of James' problem, like when we used to see him act bad on the show. Obviously, it was him, but I think like now that we know about Raquel, Rachel, I feel like it was that too.
I definitely think environment mixed with like other factors, like who you surround yourself with, can influence your own behaviors, if that makes sense. So yeah, I agree. I 1,000% agree.
Yeah, because I thought it was crazy last season when she was like so mad that he moved on and found Allie, and I'm like, you broke up with him. Like,
Yeah,
why is he not allowed to have a girlfriend? And it's like, unbeknownst to us, you had a secret boyfriend, Tom
that's
Sandoval.
that's what I think bothers me the most. Like, how are you going to sit there and be angry that he has a new girlfriend when you are literally in an active affair with your friend's boyfriend?
I
It,
know.
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
So I saw that you were doing more of the TikTok lives or the TikToks of talking about Rachel Goes Rogue, and we did that one together. The first episode, listened to it together. I don't know if I could listen to it anymore because also this is what I knew would happen. She's just talking about Scandival. She's literally having somebody ask her questions, talk to her, which also isn't really what a podcast is supposed to be. And all she's doing is talking about the same thing every episode. And it's like, you said you were going to create the podcast and talk about mental health.
Yeah. So I have a few notes. Like, I think that she should have prefaced it with like, hey guys, my podcast is going to be as kind of like a Dear Diary with somebody who is coaching, or not necessarily coaching, but somebody that's going to help to narrate my thoughts a little bit better.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of how to say what I want to say. I think that, okay, here's the thing. I didn't appreciate the last episode only because the therapist I was on, I felt was just like a yes man to her. And I don't know if you were on the live or not, but I was just like, I need like my therapist to challenge me. I need my therapist to say, wait, I'm holding up a mirror. I need you to look in it now with my lens. Do you see it from my point of view? That's what we have to work on. Not just like, yes, you're doing this. Yes. I get that. Positive reinforcement is so, so necessary and helpful. But sometimes we do need challenges. And I would just have so much more respect for Rachel if she called what her and Tom had an affair instead of a relationship. I think that
I know.
I understand it was a relationship, but you take onus when you admit that you were a part of an affair. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like you were not the main person. You were the side piece. Like
Yeah,
you weren't his girlfriend. Like to me, they weren't boyfriend and girlfriend because he already had a girlfriend.
I know. Right. So that's why I'm just like, when you denote it as a relationship in your podcast, that's like a monologue pretty much. It's
Mhm.
hard because I'm like, that makes me then think that those are your inside thoughts and that you're not acknowledging or identifying it as what it was, which was an affair.
I know, and I feel like she already did all this with the like Bethany interview. The three-part Bethany interview I thought was going to clear this up and have her tell her side. And I'm like, so now you have a podcast and every episode you're just going to talk about it all over again. It's like, we get it. You should have just came back on the show, honestly.
I've said that so many times. I know. So I also have some, like, I guess, issues with that too, because on Bethany's podcast, she was like, they wouldn't have paid me enough. I asked them for this type of pay. They said no. But then on her own podcast, she's like, I couldn't go back. I'm not ready to, my mental health, which I get that, like, maybe in the past she did want to go on for a certain number, and then a few months or weeks later she realized, you know what, it's better I don't, for my own mental health. Sure, that can happen, but like I just find so many discrepancies. And I was not, I don't know if you listened to chapter 4. I was definitely not expecting her to comment on the whole Sheena thing like she did, like how even herself verbatim she said, I didn't really want to address it, but then she completely addresses it. And I just was like, listen, I understand, allegedly that you were violated, violently by Sheena. I get that, right? I just see it as, I'm not a parent, I don't have children, right? So I feel like I can relate to Rachel in that way. We both don't have much to like lose per se. Sheena is a parent. Like she has a child. Like you opening up your mouth just puts her in such jeopardy for something that, like, why are we bringing it back up? It was put to rest for a reason. And I definitely feel a certain way about it.
I feel she only did that because she did not want to sit at the reunion with her and wanted to try to do something to like
Mm.
separate some of them from her. But then when I really knew that I personally think nothing really happened, or at least violently. I mean, your friends, she just found something out dramatic. Like she may have like pushed you or something, but like I don't think she punched her in the face. Um, I feel like she didn't even show up to court to fight Sheena for it, so it was automatically dismissed. If something really happened to you, you're gonna go. I think she's like, "Well, this got out of hand. I'm not showing up because I just want to drop." But that's not how the world works. I mean, the court system's a little busy.
Right, exactly. That's like another thing too. I mean, I think that she, even said it was, she just never had an intention of going further past the RO. She just wanted to have it as something in case anything else, I guess, came out, but I don't really know. And the other thing is like, I'm going to still listen to Rachel's podcast because I am curious. I take everything she says with a grain of salt, but like, I do want to know what else she's going to kind of drop about maybe other cast members and things like that. I want to give her at least a listen to be fair because she really didn't get to share her side as much as, she wanted to. She also said that like, that last 5 minutes of the Vanderpump Rules finale from season 10,
Mhm.
her interview bit, that was 5 minutes. It was really like an hour or something. Like, so she probably didn't get to get everything out, So I'm like, all right, let me hear her out. What else does she have to say?
My thing is, it's like I am curious what she has to say, but then I'm like, but since you did something like that for 9 months, can I even believe anything that comes out of your mouth?
I know.
Like, when I watch it back, the scenes she had with Ariana, or, like, how she was giving Lala and Katie and Christina Kelly kinda, like, tood in Vegas, I'm like, "How
Mhm.
dare you now looking back on that?"
Yeah, or I mean, the the one that really bothers me is when Rachel and Ariana are in the bar and Rachel's like, "So like how's everything going?" It's like with your sex life and stuff. Like, are you guys having sex? You
I
know
know, it's
that
like,
you're
are you
having
just
sex with
asking
him.
because you're having sex with him, so you
I
wanna
was
know if he's
curious.
having.
Like, did
Mhm.
she want to
I think
know, are
she
they
wanted
having
to.
sex at the same time?
Yeah, and I think Tom was probably like, "This relationship is dead. We're just cohabitating because we own a house." Because as we see, they're still trapped in the house together. And,
True, yeah.
that's the one little part I feel bad for her about, because I feel like he was lying to her, so that was her taking it into her own hands, being like, "I'm gonna, like, see if what Tom tells me is, like, true."
The other thing is like she also, just this week she was talking about like the throuple comment, and she was like, I really did think that they were in an open relationship, a throuple. They checked out girls together. Ariana and Lala had hooked up. So
But
listen,
it's like,
if
"I'm
she,
sorry, were you gonna live there and be in the
yeah,
throuple?"
right, like, and she said she was serious when she said it. So I think that you are right. I think that Tom sold her a really believable story, coupled with past experiences that she had witnessed, and she's like, yeah, okay, I could see that happening in Rachel's world, if that makes sense.
I know, which I mean, shout out to anybody that does that. Good for you. But I'm married and I literally couldn't imagine.
Yeah. At different, what is it? Different.
different strokes for different folks. Yeah, I mean,
different strokes for different folks. But the whole thing is that Tom and Ariana were not in an open relationship. That was made very, very clear. I forgot who posted it. Somebody posted it today and I saw it, but it was a throwback to one of Ariana's birthdays when, she's like the ice princess and Tom has like the white contacts in his eyes. And, she's like, I need to feel like this closeness from you in order to do other things with you, And he's like, I could be so close with you. So, like, they were not in an open relationship. And I think that, yeah, they've had fun before, but it's kind of, I think he's pushed boundaries just to see how much he could do without her being like, all right, enough, And then when he realized that he couldn't get away with it, he started to hang out with Rachel.
I know. I just read and saw that she really wants to sell the house, and he's like, "Oh, I'll buy it from you," but
Yeah.
he isn't, and she had to take it to court so that they could get like, I forget what it's called, but like,
Yeah, that word.
like ex parte or something to like hurry up the sale of the house, but they're not going to court till like June 30th.
I know. I saw that too. I was okay, but here's the thing. She is in New York City. She's not even occupying the house right now. She's getting ready for Broadway, baby. So I'm hoping that like it's kind of goes by like this between practicing and everything. And hopefully they can make a decision in June though, because that's really
I know, because it's crazy. It's like obviously it's unhealthy for them to live together, and they're both paying for that house. So it's like they're just wasting more money. And it's like, look, dude, if you can buy me out, then do it right this second. Like he can't. I'm sorry. I don't know his bank account information, but
there's gotta be a reason. Yeah, I agree. And I know nothing about buying a house or anything like that, so I can't speak on it, but I feel like there's a reason behind why he's doing what he's doing, and it's annoying.
I know, and I feel like he borrowed a lot against the house, and hopefully that was just his portion and not like a combined portion for Schwartz and Sandy's.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like I also agree with what you just said. Like allegedly, I've heard that as well. He like took out mortgages and stuff, so I could see him having some issues like, well, I owe money here, here, here. If that is the case, then that's why she said, okay, now we're going to court. I'm going to let the judge figure it out.
That's why I feel like I'd want to sell it. I mean, look at Tom Schwartz back in his apartment. I'm like, it's so funny because they all like season 1, were in like the little apartment, and then they grew up and got houses, and now like him and Katie are back in apartments, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, the evolution. Yeah.
No, it is him watering his plants on the preview. Talk to his plants.
That sounds very like Schwartzy like to do. I mean, I give him and Katie kudos. They're sharing their dogs. It looks like they're trying, to maintain some sort of tie,
I was really sad when they broke up. And I have to blame Tom Sandoval because I feel like it's kind of his fault because it's almost like he was stealing it from like him. And Schwartz is just like a puppy. He's just like didn't even mean to hurt Katie's feelings, I feel like. But he did.
No, I agree. I was like really sad when they broke up. I was like, no. Now listen, do I think that they're the right people for each other? I don't, but I didn't want to see them not together. I do feel like they are very different though, but I was still really sad when they broke up. And I was also like, Schwartz, you are literally prioritizing your best friend more than your wife. You need to like rearrange your priorities but you know what? I just feel like at the end of the day, they're always going to have each other, Tom and Tom.
I know, but look like the backlash he got. And
he did
I already assumed that he knew about the affair from the beginning, but Rachel like confirmed it and said he did. So yeah, that's a way for you to get that scarlet letter just like him, because a lot of people are like, well, that's gross, you didn't say anything. Or like, how would you feel if you're Ariana?
You know what it reminds me of? I don't know if you watched Jersey Shore, but it reminds me of like the note that was left for Sammy. Why didn't anybody leave a note for Ariana?
Go to like the down street. Remember they went to like a coffee shop that had a computer, because that was like, you couldn't send emails or anything from your phone. I feel like, oh my god,
it was like a cafe with the laptop, like the desktops rather. Yeah, that's
hilarious. I actually still watch Jersey Shore, like the new ones,
Me
and
too.
Sammy just came back.
I know. I watch too. I'm such a Jersey Shore head. I am. I love them.
I know, they're funny.
I'm
And the
excited to
Situation
see.
wrote like a book and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, I want to read it.
I am also hopeful, fingers crossed. I want to be hopeful that like Ronnie can maintain, his new formed friendships with them and like really get on a better path with everyone. I hope, fingers
I know.
crossed.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, could you imagine if just all of them are on the show together? I'm like, that would definitely be like OJ.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Especially because I started watching that when I was in ninth grade, which is just so crazy. So ninth grade, I'm like, what, 13? I'm gonna be 30. So it's just like I feel like I grew up watching them. So it's like I really am rooting for Ronnie because we watched
Same.
him.
I'm 33, so I was like right there watching.
Yeah, literally though, it was so fun to watch in high school. That was such a thing. That was such a
I
thing.
know. Another one too that I loved Laguna Beach.
Oh, I used to watch Laguna Beach too and the Hills. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh my
feel
God.
like
Yeah. And
that
then
was
the
my
Hills.
Bravo before Vanderpump.
Yes. MTV shows were our
Yeah.
Bravo before. Even
That's
though the first one I watched was Orange County.
okay. I think the first one I watched was New Jersey just because I was in New York and I was like, oh, I like the Jersey girls. I do. The way that they were
Yeah.
talking reminded me. It's funny. The Jersey people, in my opinion, sound more, or the Long Island people sound more like the Jersey people than the New York City people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The accent.
Yes. I know. I quick have to ask you, how do you feel about like Jackie switching teams and she's friends with Teresa now? That's interesting.
I really am speechless when it comes to this. I am so, half of me is like so over Teresa and Melissa. I'm like, guys, this is embarrassing. Like, you guys have been family for how long and you can't figure it out? Just leave it. Just leave it. But I will say, I don't like the idea of like a friend flopping from one side, like right over to the other. That doesn't make sense. Like, now she's no longer friends with Melissa, but they were like this.
Because of Margaret. Because
So,
Jackie
I
worked
did
for
read that online. People were saying like Margaret's arsenal or whatever. Like, she probably let something out, but I don't know. I wouldn't want a friend like that. Like, I wouldn't want to befriend her.
Yeah, I don't really like Margaret. Like, I mean, she's good TV, but I am like, okay, if I was on the show, like, I don't want to hang out with Margaret.
Same. Agreed. I would not like, hi, how are you? Okay. But I wouldn't want to like
I
go
mean,
to
I
a
feel
club.
like you have to have a side. It's like Melissa and those people that go with Melissa, or Teresa and those people that go with Teresa. And like, I'm not gonna lie, Jennifer Aiden looks fun. So maybe I would be going out to dinner with like Teresa and Jen, Aiden, and Dolores.
I don't know how I feel about Jen. I'm like, and Jen really upset me at BravoCon. I felt like she was really rude. And I know that the fan who asked the question was rude. I get it. Like, we've chatted about it. The way that she said it could have been said differently. But I was like, Jennifer, you have a platform. You are the one on national television. Like, why are you doing that?
I know.
That really bothered me. And like, I don't know. I just feel like she has been very judgmental, not just at BravoCon, just like throughout the show. So I'm like, I would feel insecure to hang out with her. And I don't want to hang out with people that I feel insecure. I want to know, like, my people got me, I got them. I can feel confident because I know that they see me for who I am. I would feel too judged by her. I would. By Jennifer, personally.
I do feel like her and Teresa really are close friends.
Same.
Like some
I
people are
do.
like, oh, like blah 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 for the show, and she's up her butt, and I'm like, no, because like they hang out so much off camera
Mhm.
that that's not for the show. It's the people that you only see close during the season, and then for like months they don't post together. That's the friendships for the show.
Yeah, no, they seem to be really, really good friends. They just posted, it was like Jennifer, Teresa, I think Teresa's ex Joe was there with like all the kids and everything.
Yeah, they were all in the Bahamas. How wild!
So, I don't know if they're filming or not, but like,
No, we needed Bravo cameras over there. Like, like
literally,
I need Joe Giudice back on the show. Like, I'm
wish.
happy for Teresa that she's married, but like, I miss
Oh,
those
same.
scenes of Joe Giudice, or like when they did the prison special when she was away. Him and like Melania could have just had their own spinoff, just the two of them.
For real, that was so sweet. And I think he makes great TV too. And it's been so long. Like, let him be back on the show. Come on. Like, we need him back, at least for a cameo or something.
I know. Well, remember when he ran into like Joe Gorga?
Yes.
in the Bahamas. We needed a camera for that.
Yeah, I wish. Oh my gosh, I wish. That would
I
have
know.
been amazing.
They did like a fake weird hug and stuff, but like I need to see after, like, like the behind the scenes. Like,
That aftermath
did
of
you
that hug.
actually talk? And like, I mean, honestly, I think a lot of it is Melissa.
I don't know. I really, really don't know. I feel like Melissa definitely stirs the pot 1000%. But I don't know if like Teresa really ever wanted to have a tight friendship with her. And I feel like, you know, Teresa's the type that like if she feels like you're forcing yourself on her, that's going to push her away more.
Mm-hmm. Or I
So
feel
I
like
don't think we could ever.
like Melissa was like mean sometimes, like back and forth. Like remember when she wrote the card, "Congratulations on your redone home." Like why would you write that? But then you're gonna say Teresa's the problem. That's causing a problem.
Absolutely. 1000%. That is causing a problem. See, I forget about all that stuff. I really am I'm not like over them, but I'm just like, come on, guys. Can you give us new content where it's you guys not like going back and forth? Can we get like something else? Like, I feel like people really would like to see them get along. Like, it's been how many years of them not getting
The
along?
chances of them getting along, or even if it was fake, because also a lot of people say it was just fake,
I
um,
don't know, which
is
is
at least enjoyable. And I do like Joe Gorga. I know some people are like, oh, he's like annoying, but I posted some throwback pictures. We met him. He did like the Growing with Gorga
oh, I see
seminar.
that. Yeah.
And he was so nice. And see, this is why I have a different view. When I went up to Melissa, and like, mind you, the event was about him. It was
Okay.
not about Bravo. And people were there legitimately for real estate. Like, no one really even cared that they were on TV except like me.
Okay.
So I went over to her and she was alone. And I was like, hi, Melissa. Like, can I take a picture with you? And she was like, yeah, I guess. And I was just like, did you really have to say it like that? Like, you know what I mean? It's like no one's around you. It took you just as much effort to answer like that instead of saying, like, yeah, sure. Like
Right.
being nice.
Like you were
So
like,
that always stuck in my brain.
had you approached her like a crazy person, I could see her having that reaction. If you were like,
Yeah.
hey, you know who you are? I love you on the show. Can we get a picture?
Yeah.
You know, I always think about that too when people say like, oh, I met so and so, they weren't nice. I'm like, listen, unless I'm having like a really bad day, I would be so excited to be like, oh my God, thanks. Yeah, like let's get a selfie. But that's also just me. I don't know.
I was like, I bet if I met Taylor Swift right now, she'd be nicer than her right now. Like, honestly. And then I met Teresa and it was Teresa Dolores Dorinda at Xfinity Live
It's fun.
like 2 summers ago. And it was like one of those panels. But then after we all got to stand in line, which the line was like long, but it moved. They were all so nice.
See, I've heard that Dolores really is so nice. Like not
So
like
nice.
fake.
It looks just like that in person. Like Teresa was so nice, but I'm gonna tell you, her like spray tan, it was like wasn't orange, it was almost like gray. It was like, wow, you look like a wax figure. Actually, no, Dorinda looked like a wax figurine in person. Like not bad, but just like so pale and so much caked on pale makeup that I was like, oh my god, you look like you're made of wax. Like it was
Oh,
weird.
that's so weird. That's so
It's
weird.
weird.
I can't imagine. It's just so funny because like when you see them in person, like that day when you saw them in person, the pictures that they posted probably didn't even look like the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the sense of like their spray tan, their makeup, like it looks good in the picture. Up
Yeah,
close
they're
though,
like
you
on TV, they look good, but, like, I feel like when you see them in person, you're like, "Whoa, that's a lot of makeup."
yeah, a lot of makeup, a lot of tan, a lot of.
Or, like, have you seen, like, for the reunions, they wear, like, a ton, so then when they take their pictures or, like, when you see Andy, you could see, like, all his powder, and I'm like, "Whoa, you have, like, a lot of makeup on," but then when it's, like, filmed on camera, it looks normal.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I do think that Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the ladies looked a little orange. They did. I didn't feel like Andy looked orange. I thought the other ladies, I was like, y'all look really like orange. I don't get it. I
They
don't
need
know
to
the
get some spray
editing.
tan people.
Yeah, right. Like, what are you
They
doing?
haven't
Get
found the right people. I'm so upset, like, I need to start watching Salt Lake because I died when Jeff Lewis was like, "Who was designing that set, Andy?" It was disgusting.
it was so bad. I do not understand what they were. And like, no shade at whoever designed it. I'm sure you had a vision, but I'm just like so confused. I wish there could have been like one theme. And there was just so many different themes. Wait, so have you watched this new season?
No, now that it's
You
over,
need
I
to.
need to watch it. But see, then I'm like, oh well, Vanderpump Rules is starting, so I won't have time. And then like after that, Jersey will start, and I'll be like, I don't have any time. And like I have to watch all these things when my kids go to bed.
I was gonna say, if
Like
you
I'm
can
pressed
set
on time.
aside like once a week, only because there's only 4 seasons, so it's not
I
that
know. I
much to
think I
catch
could
up
do
on.
it.
And then you do like once a week, you know what I mean? Um, and then when Jersey Shore comes back on, let's definitely chat about that as well. We don't have to do it here, but like let's definitely just chat about that.
Oh my God, yes.
Love Jay
I know.
Shore.
I know. I don't like Angelina. She's the only one because I feel like she like wants to cause drama, and I'm like, girl, this isn't the Housewives. Like everyone would still watch you guys with like no drama and just partying. Even though I feel like thank God Snooki and Dina because like no one really parties.
Oh yeah, no, I feel like the
Like
meatballs
Jimmy's
are the
just a
only.
wet rag. I'm like, you're so boring.
Yeah, I feel like the meatballs are the only ones that still party. And okay, I have such a interesting like feeling about Angelina because I do feel so like my throat chokes up. Like I'm like, oh man, Angelina, that's so sad about like your upbringing and stuff. Like it just makes me so sad. And like I don't know, Angelina seems to me like she's the hard exterior, but like deep down, she's just like still that child, like looking maybe for like guidance and stability and love. And it just, I do think a lot of her behaviors manifest from like childhood experiences. Who am I to
Yeah,
say this? I don't know. It's just like from what we've seen online. So I'm like, I feel bad for her, but then I'm like, all right, Angelina, but you're like 40 years old, so you know right from wrong, right? Like you
I
know
know.
what's right and what's wrong. And when I heard her say to Mike, like, remember the situation when she like texted him and she was like, hey, do you want to start beef online? I'm like, do you really do that? Do you just text your friend and like, hey, you want to go start something? Could you imagine me texting you, hey, I'm about to start on your Instagram.
I know.
I'm gonna leave a comment. Let's go at it.
And see, that's the part that I don't like because I know everyone always says to me like, these shows aren't real, and I'm like, no, they are, but it's like because I feel like even though Krista Cavallari has come out and said like the Hills and Laguna Beach was totally like staged, but I feel like Jersey Shore was never staged. Like
Oh, I
stuff
don't
just
think
happened
so.
naturally. So like her doing that, it's like don't make it like seem like all this is fake.
I don't think Jersey Shore is fake. I mean, I think that there was certain things maybe that they were led into, but like I think it was all their real reactions. I think it's
Yeah,
all like I don't think any producers told them back in the day, "Hey, go to this cafe and write them a note. Write Sammy a
yeah,
note." I think they did that on their own. You know what I
same,
mean? They
same,
created their own show. So yeah.
same. Yeah, hearing Kristen talk about Laguna Beach, that was like crazy. I was like, no, it was all fake.
I know because we were like younger when we were watching that, probably like, "Oh wow, okay, so this is what life is like." But it was like all really produced. I know.
You know,
Okay.
I love her. She's so like one of my favorites. I listen to her podcast, and I love her friend Justin Anderson, her
Oh,
hairdresser.
yes, yeah. I don't listen to her podcast, but I know who that is. I know who Justin
He'll
Anderson is.
come on like every now and again. I'm like, oh, please be like a permanent like just co-host because they're so funny together.
That's always great when like the host has good banter with whoever. Yeah, they should make him then like a
Yeah,
permanent co-host. That would be fun.
he's funny. Well, this was so fun.
I literally love chatting with you. I literally feel like I'm chatting with like a friend from back home on the East Coast, and I love that we were able to talk about our VPR as well as Jay Shore because that
I know, I love that. I know, and we'll have to do like bonus episodes with Jersey Shore when it
literally
starts.
you should put out like yeah because like Bravo T with a stay-at-home mom plus reality T.
Yeah, love that. Exception for our Jersey people.
Literally. Thank you so much, by the way, for having me on today. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you. I had so much fun.
I'll see you later.
Bye.
As always, this was so fun, and you could find me on Instagram at Bravo T with the Stay at Home Mom, Spotify, and Apple. Till next time, see ya.